Bermuda is Britain's oldest overseas territory. The Premier of Bermuda, the Right Honourable David Burt, attended the funeral today. And he joins us now. Mr. Burt, thank you very much for joining us here on BBC News. What were your impressions of the day generally and the service in particular?
Well, the service was an incredibly somber event, but it was an event that was fit for the longest reigning head of state of the United Kingdom and the longest reigning monarch. And Queen Elizabeth's life of service was without question unparalleled. To have done what she had done for 70 years with dignity and grace, with the gathering of world leaders who came out, you could tell that they were there to pay the respects and to honor the service which she gave not only to her country, but to the entire Commonwealth.
The Queen visited Bermuda 4 times in total. The last time, I think, was with the Duke of Edinburgh in 2009. How important was she as a monarch to the island?
I think that she will be remembered as someone who fulfilled her role, and there are fond recollections of her royal visits to Bermuda. I was not in public office the last time that she visited in 2009, but I spoke about that visit when we paid tribute in our local parliament last week Friday, and spoke about the fact how she went to so many places, how she enjoyed the local culture, and how she fondly remembered her time there. And I remember when I did have the opportunity to meet Her Majesty in 2019 at Buckingham Palace. There's a royal box in the City of Hamilton Theatre, and in there is a note from Her Majesty, which is written from her first trip to Bermuda in 1953. My children saw it, and I was able to pass on that note and say, you know, my children did see it, and they did say, I'm going to Buckingham Palace to see the Queen, and they said, make sure you say hi for us.
Well, you can do that with the King as well now, can't you, while you're here? Now, King Charles, of course, will be the head of state. What sort of relationship do you hope Bermuda will have with him?
I think that what King Charles has said is that he will continue the view of his mother to remain out of politics. But I think what is vital and important is that King Charles has spoken about a very important issue to small island states, and that is of the environment and climate change. Bermuda is a world leader when it comes to making sure that we protect our oceans and to advance matters on climate change. So I think with his leadership of the Commonwealth, I think that will be something that will be front and center, and that will be certainly something that I think mixes with where Bermuda wants to go and position itself as a country.
Of course, times change and monarchies need to change with it. How does the monarchy remain relevant to Bermuda in 2022?
Well, I think that that's certainly a question for another day. I think that it's a day for reflection of the Queen's long life and service. But what I would say is that our relations are with the United Kingdom government, and it's for the United Kingdom themselves to choose their path. As Bermuda, we're still an overseas territory. Our next step is to certainly be a sovereign state, and whatever form that sovereignty takes will be a matter for discussion another day. But today was a day to reflect on the Queen's life of service. And as I said, as a politician who's been doing this job and now in his 6th year, to think of doing this 70 years, day in and day out, it is absolutely incredible. The crowds that came out today, the pageantry that was on display, was a fitting send-off to someone who dedicated their life to service.
How keenly will today's ceremonies have been watched back home, do you believe?
Well, I did hear from many persons, and persons were sending videos and WhatsApp messages from it. So I do think that there were a lot of persons back in Bermuda who were certainly watching the ceremony that took place, because people do recognize that you must honor someone's commitment to service, no matter what your individual political views are. The position of the monarchy of the United Kingdom is one of apolitical. It is a head of state that is totally apolitical, and it is someone who gives their life to service. So there was a significant number of persons who were watching. I even ran into Bermudians that were here while we were getting ready to get in the cars to get to the places for the buses that your program had just mentioned. And they were just in town, and they were excited to take it in just as many others.
What do you think the Queen's legacy will be for Bermuda?
I think that the Queen's legacy will be one of service to the world and to the Commonwealth. From that perspective, in the exact same way as in the United Kingdom, it remains apolitical, the monarchy. but I think that people reflect on a life of service. I mean, things are going to change. Just in Bermuda, the Queen is on all of our currency. The Queen, I heard in tributes in Parliament that at the end of the night on our local television stations, there used to be images of the Queen every evening. So those things will certainly change. But I think that the affection for Queen Elizabeth, the visits of which she had to Bermuda, the memories of which persons in those times will certainly have, will remain undimmed. And I think that people just want to pay tribute to someone who did serve with dignity and grace for 70 years.
The Right Honourable David Burt, Premier of Bermuda, thank you very much for joining us here on BBC News.
Take care.
Our world correspondent.